Greetings, you beautiful bats. I'm Azzy, and you're listening to the March 2023 edition of All Goth Considered with Obscura Undead. In this segment, we explore 3 recent releases and hear what the artists have to say about their music. Refill your wine glass and let's dive into these dark waters together. The Medicines are a Dutch post-punk and goth rock trio featuring Amber Hermsen on vocals and synths, Jean Thysse on guitar and drum machine, and Vinny Ferreira on bass. I can't recall the last time I heard a band lean heavily into the sounds of 80s goth rock and post-punk and come out on the other side with music that really captures the soul and timelessness of the era. Honestly, I shouldn't be surprised considering Jean runs in-depth music and owns what I believe might be one of the most comprehensive vinyl collections of 80s goth. Jean was kind enough to tell us about the title track off their latest 3-track EP, Alone in a Room.
Hello, my name is Jean Thysse from the band The Medicines. We are a post-punk goth rock band from Almere, the Netherlands. We have recently released our new single, Alone in a Room, on February 4th. This new single contains 3 songs, Alone in a Room, In Uniform, and All Too Stupid. I think all the songs have their own sound and feel to it. We decided to record in my recording studio and mixing the songs by ourselves. If I need to tell what our inspirations are, is that most of the songs we wrote is based on our personal lives and views. The music of the Medicines is inspired by post-punk and new wave bands like Echo and the Bunnymen, The Cure, Joy Division, The Sound, Girls' Names, and so many more. The first and title track, Alone in a Room, is one of our danceable songs. The song has a bass line that might remind you of a forest. That is what some people told me when they first heard Alone in a Room. I can understand why. The second and middle track, In Uniform, is an anti-war song that me and Amber Hermsen wrote together. We had the same idea and thoughts about war, so we decided to write a song about it and make our message clear. I think In Uniform is one of our complex songs. Third and last song, All Too Stupid, is a song that I wrote all by myself. It is about the differences between young and old. The song itself is more experimental. All the 3 songs are different from each other and still fits well together. That's why we chose these songs for the release, because we want to show you who the Medicines are.
Darkness surrounds me, a void closes in. The world warps away from under my feet. I do not recall what happens next. Nothing of substance, memories black. Here I am now, alone in a room. The clock ticks an hour, alone in a room. Finding my strength back, when will it end? I've lost my own mind in this wretched place. Removing the turmoil out of my head. This room takes its toll. Memories black. Here I am now, alone in forgive the reply. Alone in a room. The clock takes an hour. Alone in a room.
I have to admit, I have some bias featuring Caustic Bats. They're a local band from me out of Orlando, featuring Di on vocals and guitar, Ripley on vocals, guitar, and electric cello, Lance on bass, and Andre on drums. I had the pleasure of catching them perform at a backyard punk party here in Tampa on their third, I believe, attempt to play a show here in town. It's the curse of Tampa for them. Their first two shows were canceled due to hurricanes, including one I had booked for them, and they killed it at this backyard party despite people twice accidentally unplugging their power on their way to the bathroom. Curse of Tampa indeed. I was instantly in love with the raw expression of their sound. Di tells us about their inspiration behind their leading single, Violence.
Hi, it's Di here from Caustic Bats. So, the inspiration for our first single, Violence, came to me on a late night at my desk. Once I started writing, I couldn't stop crying. It's about a period in my life that's nearly all blacked out now. I feel that I've lost about 4 years to it. But essentially, it's about overcoming oppression and encouraging others to escape hostile situations. And you can do this by listening to the people you care about, or even just the people around you, and speaking up and standing up for what's right. I feel that we live in such a politically and socially violent time right now, with lawmakers trying to control our bodies, who we love, what we learn, and where we can exist. Now more than ever, our stories need to be heard. Stories of resistance and stories of survival.
I am anti-life. The beast of judgment. The dark at the end of everything.
Yama Uba is another band I had the fortune to catch live at Dark Spring, Boston 2022. Out of Oakland, California, this duo features Akiko from Utsi and Winter, formerly of Mystic Priestess, and together they create a beautiful raw blend of post-punk and darkwave. When I saw them in Boston, it was my first time meeting them, and their music and company felt in a lot of ways like coming home to old friends. They were wonderfully kind enough to gift me a copy of their 7-inch double single picture disc vinyl, and my only complaint is that it is far too short. I want to live in their music. And the song that I'm featuring today is Laura off their double single. Akiko sent me a short version and a long version for the inspo behind the track, and I do apologize for going over my usual time limit, but I feel like you need to listen to the long version.
When we wrote Laura, that was the first song that Yama Uba had written together as me and Winter in the same room together. Most of the songs before that had been written and structured on synth by me, and she had just come in and added a whole bunch to it. So this time we had the opportunity to really think about the structure as a guitar song. It was in the middle of the pandemic and pre-vaccine, and we just were going crazy with not being able to play in our bands that had more members in it, and we were just really craving large sound, and so we wanted a rock song. I knew conceptually also that I wanted for this song to be a hard rock song based on lyrics I had already written. So hard rock to us, it means usually a template of Sisters of Mercy with the driving sense and the distortion and the sustain of the guitar. And we also found out that we both share a love of hair metal, so especially the band Cinderella. So I think you can hear some of those influences. And we were listening to other big rock bands like The Cult, and I think the simplicity of the drums compared to the guitar is what we really got out of that to accentuate the guitar sound. Yeah, we just really played with how rock can we get on this song. And the lyrics had been written based on a series of DMs that I had with a friend who was a doctor in Italy and had been watching people die throughout the whole pandemic. And her entire hospital had turned into a COVID hospital. Every ward was now a COVID ward. It was kind of about her grief and her sacrifices that she made. One of the lines in there, I move like a Kraftwerk robot in the old videos, that was from her getting COVID herself finally. She did put a tube down somebody's throat, and she had to do it without gloves. And she made that choice. She got COVID one day before she was scheduled for the vaccine. So now she has all these neurological problems. She has trouble walking, all of this kind of debilitating stuff that destroyed her body because she was working for the rest of society. And when shows were coming up, she was telling me how, of course, she wanted to go to a show. Of course, she wanted to say hi to people and listen to music and dance. But seeing so many deaths every day of people who've made these decisions, she just couldn't do it. To me, it really struck me as not just this experience that my friend was going through, but also a very kind of classically human problem. So the song was both an exploration of that kind of existential problem. This is not the only time this is going to come up. This is going to come up over and over in history. And we have to decide, how do we support the people who support other people? It really made me feel for examining what the purpose of music is. What is the purpose of shows and getting together and parties? It was a song that had anger in it. It was a song that had a real reverence for our friend Laura and for the role that she had played. And it had a lot of sadness for kind of humanity in general. The things that keep us together, the things that make us human, are also the things that are our downfall. So sometimes that kind of frustration and just the confusion of a situation like that, I feel like sometimes you can only express it through loud music and maybe through rock music. And that's how we did it here.
thank you for listening. For more music, please follow us on most major social media platforms under the handle Obscura Undead and check out the bands featured this month. Take care of yourselves. Love you. Bye-bye.